Good evening over here from Tokyo, Japan. So that's why I have lights on right now. So thank you. Yeah, thank you so much. This particular movie, Jujutsu Kaisen, came out 3 months ago for me in Japan. I was really impressed actually by just how accurate the voices actually sound compared to the original Japanese version. Did you guys see the original movie? Was that a huge influence?
Rika,
Yes, Yuta?
lend me your strength.
It's certainly always somewhat of an influence. A lot of the time, the director will cast you and then will tell you if they want your voice print to move toward the J, the Japanese, or not. When we're recording, you know, to match the flaps, we do hear the Japanese. I also did take 2 semesters of Japanese in college, and I watch a lot of subtitled and dubbed. I pull some performance notes from seiyus as well. So I do try to sort of honor some of the energy.
It's a promise that when we grow up, we're going to get married to each other.
Yeah, and it's sort of similar for me. Whenever I create, I try to bring in my own original spin, whatever that is. You know, because I had read the manga and had listened to the Japanese and stuff, I was like, okay, I know Rika has this thing, especially when she's a curse, that she kind of draws out her words. So, you know, I tried to play with that where it made sense. You know, this is this genuine, sweet girl who just loves this boy named Yuta, but then later becomes this curse, and, you know, it just kind of digs into a more childish nature because she was a kid, you know, when she unfortunately had the accident. And so, you know, it's just playing with that and hearing when the Japanese plays with that and being like, okay, how do I make this sound more appropriate for English? Because you can't do a one-to-one. We have our own differences in how we express ourselves in Japanese versus English. So it's just playing, you know, as much as you can and finding elements to play with.
Well, you guys both did a fantastic job. I was very impressed with the accuracy and the emotion that was portrayed. It was a tearjerker for both sides, with both languages. A specific question for Kaiji, actually, because you have actually done Goto Sensei in the television series as well, right? Knowing that Jujutsu Kaisen 0 is a prequel, was there anything about the direction that you were given or that you just thought you needed to change to not necessarily make a younger, but just a prequel sort of sound?
Do be careful now, you two. Try not to die.
We took a look at the time frame between the movie and the start of the series, and it was only about, what is it, like a few years? Gojo as a character has had a very consistent sort of view and outlook on life for his entire life. He's this character who's never had to be challenged too much. We decided that during this movie, he's already more or less come into his own as a fully developed being. The stuff with him and Suguru is well in the past now. He's had a lot of experience at this point, even as a teacher. Whether or not he's a great teacher, let's watch a movie. But we felt it was important enough to keep him similar enough to justify where he is in the series, because when you meet him in the series, he's already very comfortable with who he is, very comfortable teaching kids. So we wanted to get a sense of that, like he's this practiced adult.
I appreciate that. And I noticed that since both of you guys seem to have a professional setup, did you guys record this movie remotely?
We did. Oh, did you go in, Keiichi?
I actually went in because I didn't know exactly how stressful some of the action scenes were going to get. And if there was going to be big yelling and like explosions and stuff like that. Screams sound great in here, but screams sound just a little better in the actual space. So I decided to go in. But that really came down to just a mic issue. If I had a slightly kind of different space, I probably would have felt more comfortable screaming.
Let us freely curse each other to the death.
Yeah, and
But Lex, you did it remotely then.
I did it in my booth. This is my sort of desk setup here, but once COVID hit, we had to get into like serious remote work. You know, I upgraded some elements in my studio to make it just as good as any place I would go. So we just did it remote. I have a monitor in my booth and I'm able to see the picture, and we do it all that way.
Wow, great. Well, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. On a technical scale, since you guys are all reprising the same roles from the television show, would you guys say was easier doing the TV show or just doing this movie?
Blast away!
Well,
I'd
we're
say-
all ridiculously fabulous at our jobs.
What do you want? What are your goals? What are you trying to achieve? Then Xander said it. I think that's the only answer. No, I think we figured out who the characters are at this point. So in a lot of ways, I think it was a lot easier to do the movie. Not necessarily because of like speed or timing or anything along those lines. We're all used to dubbing. We all know like, okay, like, we gotta get like this episode out. With this, it was just like, cool, okay, you already know who these people are. They just played a reference line for us. It's just like, that's the voice. I would love to hear your references, Xander. I'm not gonna lie.
Salmon Row, can you do that? Yeah, I got this.
Salmon roe.
Whisper salmon roe to me. I don't like those things. They're distracting. I get startled when calls come in.
I mean, for me as an actor, a lot of times what I do to get better is watch my performances, watch, Allegra, watch Xander, and see what they did well and what I can incorporate into my performance, to mull over the choices that I made in the series and to think of how I would do it better, and then to be given the opportunity to do it better. Every bit of Panda is better in the movie than what he was in the series by my own fault. I'm not saying like he's written better or he's the movie's made better or anything. It's my acting choices.
Right.
I feel like I was able to make better choices, understand the material a lot better.
This is definitely the best that you've seen, the three of them, and we're only learning and growing more as time goes on. Except for Xander, who was already perfect.
That's true, yes. I'm only half kidding when I say this cast is fabulous.
You're only half kidding. There's a part of you that's
Half kidding.
One thing I love about this cast is that everybody really just comes to play, man. Like, everybody has such a love for the material, being involved with it. You get that kind of enthusiasm around each other, and it really does just spitball over time. I love getting to come to work and playing in this playground.
Were you guys sometimes in the same room? Because it sounds like you guys were, but you were just listening. Okay.
I have
you refused.
That I refused to be.
I see.
I recorded the movie. I
you
recorded
threw
the movie
yourself
out of
under
my
the bus?
closet, and I was the first one to record. It wasn't until we got to preview the movie that I even knew what anyone sounded like, and I got to be like, everyone sounds so good.
This is the first time the three of us are seeing each other face to face in any real situation like this.
Xander and I have met before, but this is my first time meeting Matthew.
Oh,
which is
wow.
They don't
amazing.
invite me to things, so
That's amazing, though. There's a camaraderie here that is just it's
right?
working really well. Yeah, I love it.
One thing I'm really good friends with Maki's sister, Mai's English voice actor, Laura Post. Even though we weren't working together, getting to be like, man, like they've got such a complicated relationship and chat behind the scenes, and then go in to do another session and have them speak to each other. And it's nice because as Xander said, we are all here to play. We all love this show. We love our characters. In some ways you just kind of you leave the character in the booth and you go on with your life, but in other ways you just like you hold them very close and you're very fond of them. So, and I certainly feel that way about my girls in the show.
Well, it shows, guys. A great performance. Enjoyed it. I liked it more than the TV show, actually. So just the story itself, it was really good, and it shows. It shows really well. Thank you so much.
It's because Yuji's so boring.
Come out, Rika!